A large, quick screen, a flagship chip, a long battery life, and a polished experience. Yet, a few decisions have been made to save money. Here in Tech Factuala, we provide you with fantastic ideas on how product development is being applied in future tech and new gadgets. In addition, we feature honest reviews about the latest tech and devices that will help you decide where you should spend your money. The OnePlus 9 has all of the features you've come to expect from OnePlus, including extended battery life, rapid charging, and excellent performance. However, this latest phone goes a long way toward resolving OnePlus's long-standing Achilles heel by improving the quality of images produced by the rear cameras. In our OnePlus 9 review, we'll look at what's new in this latest OnePlus phone, and whether it's enough to make this the next Android smartphone you buy. Design. The OnePlus 9 and 8T seem identical from the front, with a small chin and a punch hole in the upper left corner of the screen for the selfie camera. This time the back is slightly different, with a color gradient instead of the 8T's homogeneous texture. While the rear camera module is positioned similarly to the 8T, the number of lenses and orientation is different. The OnePlus 9's edges are narrower, making the phone feel slimmer than it is. The phone is comfortable to handle. Even though the phone is 0.3 millimeters thinner than the 8T, the company chose a gloss finish rather than a matte finish along the periphery, which attracts many smudge marks. In addition, the company has removed the metal frame found in most OnePlus phones and replaced it with plastic to save weight. While it does not feel plasticky to touch, it casts doubt on the phone's longevity. You get an in-display fingerprint scanner, but unlike the OnePlus 8 or 8T, where it was put a millimeter or two higher for easy access, it is a centimeter or two lower on the 9, and you have to strain your thumb to reach it. The scanner, on the other hand, is quite responsive and performed flawlessly. The SIM slot is located along the phone's bottom edge and can hold up to 2 nano SIM cards. A USB-C port and the phone speaker are located next to the SIM tray. The volume rocker is placed along the left edge and a little lower, which is a positive thing. And the power button, along with the alert slider, is located on the right edge. Display. The screen on the OnePlus 9 is nearly identical to that on the OnePlus 8T. It has a 6.55-inch fluid AMO LED display with a resolution of 2400 x 1080 pixels, a refresh rate of 120 frames per second, and a peak brightness of 1100 nits. When browsing through compatible apps, the display is exceptionally vivid and smooth. You can change the refresh rate from 120 Hz to 60 Hz to save battery power, but you should leave it at 120 Hz. In apps that do not support the feature, it automatically switches to 60 Hz. In addition, the screen is HDR10+ compliant, and suitable HDR material appears vibrant on it. Given that it's an AMO LED screen, the black levels and contrast are significant, and color reproduction is excellent in both vivid and natural modes. Colors are not unduly saturated in vivid mode, as was previously the case. The primary distinction between the two modes is the color temperature, with natural mode providing significantly warmer tones in comparison. If you're interested, the phone also has some manual calibration settings. There is also an ambient display option which shows the date, time, battery condition, and notifications. Performance. The OnePlus 9 is powered by Qualcomm's newest Snapdragon 880 SoC, with 12 GB of RAM and 256 GB of UFS 3.1 internal storage. OnePlus chose the quickest Qualcomm chip available, and this smartphone performs admirably. There was no latency in day-to-day operations, standard apps, or switching between programs. At the highest settings, gaming was stutter-free and a positive experience. After 30 minutes of gaming, the phone got a little warm, but nothing to worry about. The twin stereo speakers, which are the earpiece and the bottom speakers, generate good quality output with a decent stereo effect. For improved throughput on compatible earphones and headphones, the phone supports aptX HD and LDAC codecs over Bluetooth 5.2. Call quality is excellent, and there is nothing to complain about in that regard. Battery. The OnePlus 9 keeps the same 4500 mAh battery as the OnePlus 8T. However, the battery life is significantly poorer here. most likely due to the Snapdragon 888 drawing slightly more power than the better optimized 865 processor. It nevertheless managed to keep the phone operating for about 30 hours of regular use, which included a substantial amount of messaging and use of social networking applications, browsing, a good bit of calling and taking a few photos, an hour of viewing movies, and half an hour of gaming. These are still respectable figures. OnePlus has kept the 65W Warp charger, which can deliver 10V over 6.5A, and the charging time has been cut even further. Camera. The OnePlus 9 features 3 back cameras as opposed to 4 on the OnePlus 8T. You have a 48MP primary camera with a Sony IMX689 sensor, but for the first time since the OnePlus 5T, you don't get optical image stabilization, or OIS. The second camera is a 50MP ultra-wide shooter using a Sony IMX766 sensor. This camera can also take macro images, which is a function shared with the OneT Plus 7T. As a result, OnePlus has omitted the specialized macro camera, which makes sense. Many people may have desired that the firm had brought back another camera present on the 7T, the telephoto, but that is not the case. The third camera is a 2MP monochrome module that serves as a monofilter for photographs captured with the primary camera. And that's all there is to it. It also does not function as a depth sensor. If you prefer to experiment with camera settings, it provides more refined control over exposure, white balance, shutter speed, and more. The 16MP front camera with a Sony IMX471 sensor is also retained in the OnePlus 9. It performs admirably in well-lit environments, and can snap some excellent selfies with a natural-looking skin tone. It also supports portrait photographs, and some captured portraits seem good, but not all of them. When the camera is turned on, a speck of green light circles it and settles into a dot. This makes it easy to locate the camera, and those taking the selfie know where to look. The camera app has a simple toggle that allows you to move between standard, ultra-wide, and zoom modes. The primary camera takes some sharp images in well-lit areas with a wide dynamic range. Although not flawless, color reproduction is far more natural than on prior generations of OnePlus phones. The captured photographs are sharp with a reasonable level of detail, and the colors have enough vibrancy, especially in excellent light. Portrait mode works nicely here, even without a depth sensor. The photographs are good whether they feature human subjects or objects, but the background blur is too prominent and unrealistic. In terms of focus, the primary camera did have a few focusing issues at first, but after a couple of updates, the problem was much less frequent. However, even in traditional settings, it occasionally struggles to concentrate on distant things. The OnePlus 9's low-light shooting is more than adequate, both with the primary camera and the ultra-wide shooter. Even when not in nightscape mode, it gains well and brightens images. There is some noise, but there is also a lot of detail and sound color reproduction in the photos. Last but not least, there's the Pro mode, in which Hasselblad is said to play a role. The Pro mode allows you to adjust 3 essential functions: exposure, white balance, and shutter speed. Thus, if you know how to use them, you can improve your photographs to some extent, although the difference isn't dramatic. Operating system and user interface. The OnePlus 9 runs Oxygen OS 11, which is based on Android 11. That combo has previously been seen on the OnePlus 8T, and we love it. Oxygen OS 11 is still the most excellent Android UI available. It is clean, stutter-free, ad-free, and contains little bloatware. It offers a few necessary tweaks without straying too far from the basic Android UI. OnePlus has used Google Dialer, contacts, messaging, and SMS apps instead of its own since the Nord, and the trend continues here. What we enjoy about Oxygen OS 11 is how it aims to make single-handed operating as simple as possible. From the settings menu to suitable programs, the information begins in the center of the screen, where the thumb is much easier to reach. It uses the rest of the screen area above once you start scrolling. As a result, you don't have to stretch your thumb to the top of the screen to tap on something, and pull it down within your grasp. This straightforward technique makes life much easier. Until today, the main criticism leveled at OnePlus phones has been their camera performance. While some discrepancies exist, our OnePlus 9 review discovered that the new telephone outperforms the leading flagships in this category. Of course, you'd still prefer photos from the iPhone or the Google Pixel, but OnePlus is now in the conversation. Because of the better cameras, the OnePlus 9 should be considered if you're debating which phone to buy. The OnePlus 9 not only costs less than the Galaxy S21, but it also outperforms it. You can expect performance comparable to the ROG Phone 5, making this a cost-effective option for gamers. And the OnePlus phone's fast-charging, long-lasting batteries continue to impress. Suppose you've been debating whether OnePlus is worth a risk over smartphones from more established phone manufacturers. In that case, the OnePlus 9 is your guarantee that this phone can compete with any Android handset. If you want to get updated on the top tech and tech deals for you, we invite you to join our techie community and interact with us by commenting with your thoughts below. We will see you in the following video.